We are back at Road America, and you can see the field over there in the grid getting ready to go. And Hayward alluded to it, Larry. We got a number of cars powered by bike engines. There's 3 in the field that I count that are powered by automotive engines. And the one that's on pole, and that's that blue and black one there, that's Bart Wolf. If ever there was a hometown favorite, it's him, because he lives in Elkhart Lake, just this side of Elkhart Lake.
Driven by his shop twice in the last, or every single day, twice a day. He's right here.
Yeah, it is. This is home for him. He has 6 times been on the podium here in Sports 2000, but never got the win. And he is our Tire Rack Pole Award winner. Right there is Bart. And I've known Bart for years. And he told me earlier, he said, I didn't have time to get the graphic made, but on the front, I wanted to run a graphic that said, Racing in Memory of S2. It's a class he absolutely loved. And so he said that was going to be right across that hood there. Bart is a consummate mechanic. He does this racing program for himself this year. He decided to get back into it. He hasn't raced actively, a lot for a while, but he fields multiple cars in vintage and historic racing all around the country, has built that great organization up over there. He's a great guy, and I know from very much personal experience, he's a fabulous landlord. So we go back a bit.
Yeah, good to know. And he's going to be able to lead this field to the green flag in just a couple of minutes. That'll be pretty exciting for the hometown guy.
You know what? Just to go through a count here, Bart has 6 medals, not a gold. Qualified second, Mike Rupert, 2-time gold medalist in this class. Starting third, Tim Day, 2-time gold medalist in this class. And by the way, if Tim Day wins, he gets the super sweep, which is brutally difficult to achieve. Greg Guyan is a 2-time gold medalist here. He's our Hawk Breakthrough Award winner, advancing more positions from Tuesday qualifying to Wednesday qualifying. Then you got Raiden Nickel, who was moved up, very quick young driver, switching from Spec Miata, deciding he wanted to try some prototypical stuff, and that's what he's doing. Sherman Chow, he's got a shot to win that super sweep, but Day basically has to not finish. So that's going to be a difficult one. You got Scott Vaughn. Here's interesting. The defending champ, Lucian Pencia, back in 8th.
Yeah, I expect to see Lucian maybe get back on pace here. They had some very interesting qualifying sessions this week. Difficult to get a lot of green laps for all of them. There was maybe one of those 3 sessions where they could, and I suspect Pencia may have been caught out by some of that. Keep our eye on Lucian to see if he can make a move through the field today.
Yeah, exactly. And then the guy that starts 9th, now has 6 gold medals at the runoffs. One of them coming earlier today in GT Light. Peter Shadowin has decided to give it a go here, driving a West with a Suzuki engine in it.
Yeah, he's been in that car for a couple of years. Yep. Obviously success in the GT Light for a long time, but he's been trying his hand here at P2 for a while, and it'll be interesting to see someone like that with the veteran hands. How does that work on a track that he's been to many, many times in conditions like this?
Absolutely. Then the 04 is going to be Brian Lindstrand. There you see the 25, that's Vaughn Scott. You can see a little different look to that car, and that's a Hidari Firefly chassis. Really unique in this field.
Yeah, very different. What you do see a lot of are those Store, which are the low-slung chassis out there. A couple of the taller ones, like the Liege in the front, as well as a Radical in there. But, a couple of very unique ones, and that's what you get in prototypes. You get a lot of custom stuff.
And this one here, the 04 Brian Lindstrand, this is a Van Diemen Prince powered by a Kawasaki, the only Kawasaki in the field. And then that yellow and black car that just rolled off, that's Richard Colburn. He has a silver medal in runoffs competition. This will be his 50th runoff start, second only to Mark Webber. And one of the great things about Richard Colburn, usually somewhere on his car he's got to thank workers. He is just an absolutely great gent. And they are making their way out on the track. There is Bart, again, the Tire Rack Pole Award winner. And he broke the track record for runoffs qualifying in P2. Ironically, he set the fastest lap in the sprints for the race lap, set that record quicker than he qualified here. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of laps he can throw down here.
Yeah, in these conditions, this should be very good for high-speed laps. The tailwind down this back straight, I can't emphasize how strong that wind has been today. So from this point where you see them all the way down to turn 5, they're going to have the wind pushing the cars along, and for that big Liege, that may help him in his trap speeds and his lap times.
And you look at the trees that's just coming into view on the left there, folks. That's how stout this wind is here. It's strong. Officially give you a quick run through the grid, as I said on pole, the tire rack pole, the 28 of Bart Wolf out of Elkhart Lake, the Wolf Motorsports Ligier Honda. Outside the front row, number 7, Mike Rupert out of Hubertus, Wisconsin, another Milwaukee region member. In the Hoosier Sunshine Metal Store Suzuki, starting in the 3rd spot, the number 8 out of Scottsdale, Arizona, in San Francisco region. Tim Day Jr. In the Goodyear Summit Racing Store, starting in the 4th spot, the 83, Greg Guyan out of Western Springs, Illinois, Chicago region. Our Hawk Breakthrough Award winner, 2-time gold medalist. He drives the Geico International Argus Magnetic Store Suzuki. Then in 5th, this is somebody I think we really need to keep a watch on here. Only his 3rd runoff start, the 93 Rayton Nickel out of Houston, Georgia. Literally right next door to Road Atlanta down there. The Primal Racing Aero Group, that Radical SR3, which is the Radical that has a fair amount of aero to it. Starting in the 6th spot, in his 9th runoff start, the 03 of Sherman Chow, Palm Beach, Florida, Central Florida region in the Store Suzuki. Starting in the 7th spot, 3rd runoff start for the 25 of Vaughn Scott, Royal Oak, Michigan's Detroit region, in the silver 25M and 4M Industries Hidari Firefly. Starting in the 8th spot, his 11th runoff start, your defending champion 99 Lucian Pencia, all the way from San Antonio, Texas, Lone Star region, in the Lucor Young Racing Store Kawasaki. Starting in the 9th spot is the number 12 in his 20th runoff start. We talked about Peter Shadowin, 6-time gold medalist out of West Palm Beach, Florida, in the road and race Goodyear West Suzuki, starting in the 10th spot. 4th runoff start for Brian Lindstrand, the 04, the LMI Hoosier Van Diemen Prince, that's that Kawasaki-powered machine, starting in the 11th spot. 50th runoff start for the 97 of Richard Colburn, a former silver medalist, I think in the DSR class, in the Sunshine Metals Nestendo Suzuki, starting in the 12th spot. 9th runoff start for the 11 of Dale Vanderbush from Humboldt, Wisconsin, a Milwaukee region member. I love the name of his team, Lake Effect Motorsports, in the Spartan VV2 Mazda. Starting 13th, the rookie, the 27 of John Godin, Wind Lake, Wisconsin, a Milwaukee member in the Godin Motorsports, Wolf Motorsports, Lola B7090 Mazda, and then completing your field in 14th. 5th runoff start for the 77 of Michael Moulton out of Wilmington, North Carolina region, the Young Racing Store WF1 Suzuki. And this is going to be a really important lap for them as they come through here to really spot where that oil dry is, where all of that mess was from earlier here. And you can see them over, some of them smartly even over on it, just trying to get a feel for, is there grip there if I get forced there?
At this point, it looks like they did a fantastic job of cleaning it up. I don't really see much. What I do see a lot of, and you can see it, are the leaves down. We had some shots earlier. You could literally watch the leaves fall, and we'll see a few of those here. But look at the ground. Look at that pavement. That can get into the radiator inlets in these cars. It could really wreak havoc on them for their temperature management.
That's exactly right. One thing you don't need to worry about is taping your inlets here, because they're going to get taped.
Look at the oil dry down through 12. Some of them are testing it. Most of it's offline. We had that from the earlier race. That is a lot of oil dry. That means it may take away a passing zone for these guys, at least for the first couple of laps.
I agree, and obviously it's on the line you want as you come into Canada Corner, so you're going to cheat to the inside of that a little bit, and somebody eventually is probably going to brave it out, go wide, try and do a little over-under move, and we'll see how that plays out. But here we go, lights out on our Mazda pace car. And again, a huge thanks to Mazda for everything they do, including presenting our coverage here this weekend, and this field getting ready to go up the hill. And you heard Hayward talk about it from this back shot. You can see there's a lot more volume to Bart's car there on the right. He's going to punch a pretty big hole. So what he's hoping is he's just got outright pace. And we're about to find that out. They are over the crest of the hill. This is the run for the gold in Prototype 2. We're green! And Bart Wolf, with the little bit of torque of that Honda engine, gets a nose ahead as this field streams by. Now, does Rupert have the top end and the stick to do something around the outside into turn one? I have a feeling, based on the qualifying times, they don't want to let Bart lead. And Rupert came across, and I think that was Tim Day. They just touched, and Rupert ended up snapping around. Fortunately, some great avoidance driving, Larry, by everybody else.
Yeah, quick reflexes by the back of the field to avoid him. He's shaking his head. That is not how he wanted it to go.
Yeah, you can see he's frustrated. Of course, that has given Bart that big gap already.
Oh, no.
And that's oil dry.
Oil dry.
That might just be oil dry. There was a fluid leak of some sort, just a spot there. And so right now, Bart has a big lead as he heads down into turn 5. And let's take a look again at what happened. And just what, Tim Day's got that inside. Rupert a little bit There's
Rupert
nowhere
turned
Day
down.
could go.
I don't think Rupert realized Day was already
agree.
that deep down there. Day had the line.
Yeah.
Rupert just didn't see him, and Rupert luckily didn't get any contact. We'll see if he's able to continue. But look at Wolf already. Big lead early on.
Yeah, and obviously it was the second and third place cars that had that coming together. Everybody had to check up. And Bart looking in his mirrors going, oh boy, this is an opportunity here. And now we're going to see what kind of speed does Tim Day have, does Greg Guyon have, and does the 93 of Raiden Nickel. There's the 83 of Guyon. Oh, the 27 is off. That's John Godin, a rookie. He's trying to get it back on the track here. Looks like he might just be able to do that.
That looks like the exit of 6 maybe hooked off to the left there.
Yeah, good point. Easy to do that up there.
But I think we're going full course.
We are. Full course, and Bart ruining his luck at this moment here. But Tim Day and everybody else is so thankful for that. And the opportunity to be able to close it up here, which tells me, I don't know whether that was because of Godin. It looked at me like Rupert couldn't get that car restarted.
That may have been the issue,
He may still be just sitting up there.
Yep, and that would totally be the reason, because it did look like Rupert was able to get his moving, but for him out in the front there, for Rupert, I should say, not be able to get his running, that would be the cause of this, which should also be a pretty quick recovery of that car. Just maybe one lap, and then we can get going again. My fingers are crossed. This is obviously your Bart Wolf. You're saying, oh man, why did that have to go this way? But if you're Tim Day, who had a fantastic start, obviously, and the other is Lucian Pansea was able to get, I believe, a position moved up. He's sitting in the 5th spot, able to jump around a few cars.
He started 8th.
Yeah, remember, he had a really tough day of qualifying. Wednesday was his best performance. Tuesday and Thursday, never able to get a good lap in. So he may be thinking, hey, you know what? This is my time now that we've kind of closed the group, closed up the pack a little bit.
All right, so here we go. The field has caught the pace car as we go around on Rupert. And he just spun. I think it's just a matter that the car would not restart. Yeah. So they're probably going to back him up here. And he might even dump the clutch, get it going, and be able to take off again. He'll be down a lap.
They might do this with a little reverse in the truck, and maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
See if he gets it fired up. You can see him popping the clutch.
He's trying.
I don't know that he's going to make this work. They're taking him into the grass. So he can get it running, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Well, that's an unfortunate there for that front row of Rupert. Rupert came in, as you had said, with nearly 28 starts. Was a DSR champion back in 1997, one of the Mid-Ohio runoffs. But he's been in this class for a very long time, was probably thinking this is going to be his year. Unfortunately for Mike, his race is going to end in the first turn. Yeah,
and you can see him pounding the wheel. And he's been doing this a long time. I think he may recognize that I should have given a little bit more room down there. You know, just seen it. So
he may not be thinking that right now, but I think when he goes and watches his video, he may realize that. I believe at least that Tim Day had the line. Both these guys are all veterans. They've all run against each other in the runoffs every single year. So there's a lot of familiarity in this group.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're on the outside going into one, you got to assume someone's going to be down there. For Rupert, unfortunately, didn't quite leave enough room and didn't see any damage on the car. That's good. May have just stalled it as looks like he's going to hop out of the car.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Here we go, up the hill, and sitting there in that 4th spot, Greg Guy and Lucian Penchia backing up just a little bit here, but let's watch for it. We should be having a restart any second. We're back to green, and a nice launch by Raiden Nickel, but Tim Day just had that Store Suzuki in the right gear and just pulled away from Raiden. In the back, the 99 of Lucian Penchia trying to come up with a move here, and picks up the 4th spot, goes right around Greg Guyan, and a nice job there. And Raiden Nickel using every piece of the track at the exit of turn 1. Here we go, down into 3. Wolf carves into turn 3 with Day sitting in the 2nd spot. Raiden Nickel in 3rd.
Day tried to restart right underneath the back of Wolf. You could hardly even see the car behind the big Ligier. Flag came out. Wolf takes off. Apparently Raiden in that Radical's got a pretty good punch of power, was able to get up next to him, and here he is again, kind of taking the defensive line, or even look at Penchia coming underneath.
Yeah, Penchia, but look at Raiden. That young man on the brakes said, I am ready to get back after it. And late lunch down into turn 5, and it paid off. He's right back in to that 3rd spot. But yeah, you're right, Penchia in that Store with that bike engine seems to have a lot of good top end speed. Here we go, whistling now down into the very tricky turn 8, another of those crazy downhill braking zones, and then the run into the carousel, this long, and in these cars with all the downforce, really fast corners.
Yeah, very quick through here. And I love looking at, even though the Store chassis, I love looking at the different front splitter sections of how the aero goes underneath the car. There is a lot of aero underneath and around these cars. Really neat to see how they've all customized it to work for them.
And this isn't a spec class, so you can run a Store, and if you want to modify the front end, the back end, you can do whatever you want. You can see here everybody just cheating a bit to the right of that big line of oil dry, and that makes total sense. Somebody at some point is going to do that and run through it, and looked like it really didn't hold them up too much.
I saw Penchia just dip a tire into a big puff of that oil dry smoke kind of came out of there, so he was testing it a little bit. You can see there's still a lot of that powder down.
And I wouldn't put it by any one of these drivers if somebody's right behind him coming through the kink to go over, drop that left set of tires in that, throw up a little bit of dust. They are sneaky no-gooders at times here. That's all part of the play. And the guy behind him in the moment will be frustrated, and at the end of the day, he'll go, man, that worked. That was pretty smart, bud.
Look at that radical of Raiden Nickel taking that different line. It's a big, durable car. That thing, they run those things in series.
Guyan now diving down to the inside of the 99 of Lucian Penchia. And now, but Penchia, I think, got the better run out of 3, Larry. And he's already over the back, all over the back, and here he comes.
Yeah, remember those two are the last 2 champions in this class, Guyan and Penchia. These guys have run against each other a lot, and they're doing it again. They're dicing back there as Penchia now with the inside move.
Gets that done. And Raiden Nickel, sounded like somebody missed a gear on the down change into turn 5. I think that may have been Raiden, had a little bit of a down change issue and got it back going again. And you can see that car has a lot higher CG, a lot higher center of gravity. It's a much taller chassis, but the young man is driving the wheels off it. And Ian in the background still in that absolutely fabulous battle right now with Lucian Penchia.
Yeah, I think Greg and Lucian have different strengths here, and they're both just playing with it. Who can get one corner better than the other, and they're dicing around. And they're very similar Store Suzukis. These guys are, actually, I think one of those might be in the Kawasaki.
Did you see the front end of Day's Store give up mid-corner through the carousel there? He just asked a little bit too much of it. The front end just suddenly walked sideways. He did a great job to save it, but that will tell you, all right, you're at your limit in that part of the corner.
Penchia sliding in as well through that dust.
Margin last time by for Wolf was 1.8 seconds. Ian again takes a lunge and then just checks up a little bit. I think he was trying to get Penchia to try and cover him, because he immediately swung back out trying to get a run up the hill. And now it's draft time. And for Lucian, he's not close enough to take a big advantage at this point of that rather bigger hole in here I think that Radical would produce. Although here he comes.
Yeah, now they get to their top speeds. He can do that. Here he is popping out.
But we've seen Raiden be absolutely diabolical on the brakes, and he does it again. But there's that super wide line. Lucian trying to come over. Meanwhile, Guyan dives down the inside of Lucian, and now he's going to try a late braking move on Nickel, and Nickel has nothing to do with that, covers it completely, and away we go. But now Guyan has that opportunity for that draft again on Raiden Nickel.
He's going to try it, but we've seen how Raiden can be so good on the brakes. If you think you can outbrake him, you may be wrong.
Yeah, they couldn't get it done. Nice job. By the way, last time by for Wolf, that's now 3.5 seconds. He just ran a 2:09.2 to a 2:10.8 and is opening that up just a little bit. Tim Day has about a second lead back to Raiden Nickel right now. Here we go. A tricky turn 7, falls away, off camber. You have to really try and avoid the apex curve there because that will just walk the car sideways when you have no camber to catch you. I want to watch now Day again through here. Now we're going back to Nickel. He looks really planted, as does Guyan.
Yeah, they look like, again, running a good, tidy, and tight line there. No drama this time around, and Day even staying off the exit curbs. A lot of the stores, they're definitely staying off those curbs a little more than what we've seen out of the Radical of Raiden Nickel, who seems to be willing to use some of them. Not the exit at the kink, obviously, but in some other spots he's using some. Maybe even start using it here as they come into Canada.
Here he goes. And they're just starting to say, okay, we got grip. We have grip now through that, at least at that point of it. And so they're just using it. Here's this tricky turn into Billy Mitchell, blind uphill. Every instinct in your body tells you to square that up just a little bit like a real corner. And then you get to the top and look, and you've got 4 feet to the exit curb, and you realize, I need to turn in a little bit sooner and drive that like a sweeper.
Good run here for Guyan underneath the back of Raiden Nickel, and as they get to their top speed like we saw before where Pansea tried, I think we're going to see Guyan try to pop out here behind Nickel of that huge Radical.
Yeah, look at this. He's got a nice draft position. He's going to pop out, but again, then Raiden's so good on the brakes and just gaps him by about a car length.
And none of those stores are using any of the rumbly curbs on the exit of 1, but the Radical, he's going straight for the smooth part on the outside of the rumbly curbs, and knowing that he can do that, he can actually carry a little more entry speed.
Yep, and when you look at the back shots here, that Radical is pretty low to the ground, but when you look from the back underneath the chassis, there is a little bit more room. And I think Raiden, as a result, willing to do that. And here comes Penchia again, sort of hunting on Guyan. And then Sherman Chow is slowly putting on a really, really effective run here and coming up on the back of those guys. It looks like he's bringing Vaughn Scott with him as well. There's Raiden. Talk about going to a completely different platform. Last year, Raiden, he had himself a pretty good race at Virginia, 8th in a huge Spec Miata field. Yeah. And then I guess he decided to Monty Python it and go, now for something completely different.
It doesn't get any more different from the Spec Miata to running a Radical with a bike motor. It's a huge switch, but look how fast he is. He's racing with cars that are very different than what he's at. It means he's got to work on making speed differently. Right now, the straightaway speeds and the brakes in that car are fantastic, but some of this section, like the carousel, look how much faster Guyan is. I don't know if Guyan can use the drafts going down to Canada, but he's going to try it.
That is a look, I think, at Brian Lindstrand. Meanwhile, here comes Bart Wolf. He has stretched that margin to 4.8 seconds right now. He just turned on the last lap at 2:09, essentially flat, at 2:09.1. And is really putting together a stunning drive. And one track Bart knows inside and out, of course, is home here at Road America.
Yeah, that Honda-powered car is moving very well. He's really proud to be able to run a true car engine in one of these, as Hayward was talking about, and you were talking about. He wants to run one of these, not the bike motors. The bike motors are what you see behind him. All 5 of the cars in the shot there are all running some sort of Suzuki or Kawasaki engine power. Look at that.
Yeah. Used that draft and decided he had to outbrave him. And now again, dives down to the inside. Wow, that was close, Larry.
Well, he knows that Raiden's got great brakes, so let's go ahead and get in front of him and make him use them.
And that is your battle right now for the final spot on the podium. And you know it's going to be fierce, because if you can't win at the runoffs, you at least want to be on the podium, so you can have, leave with a medal. And this is by no means done. We still have almost half the race to go here. And right now, it looks like I'm looking at the times. Day just ran a 2:10.6, a 2:10.5 for Raiden, a 2:09.5 for Lucian with that draft all the way down that front straight. And now Guyan is attacking on Lucian. Thought for a minute he might do that outside move. And I wonder now, Raiden, we've seen him use those ultra wide lines, but normally he was just driving that way. Now it looks like the car is slipping that way a little bit.
Yeah, I'm wondering how his tires are holding up at this stage. But we know that car's been great on the brakes, so if it comes down to a braking contest in anywhere, I would be putting my money on Raiden Nickel right now. But you can see the twisty part of the track from turn 5 through the carousel, how much quicker those store chassis are than the Radical. But this is where the Radical strength is, on the long runs down to places like Canada.
Yeah, it is. The interesting thing too with these, with these cars that have more downforce than that Radical. The Radical makes good downforce, but those stores they are just incredible. The faster you go, the better you stick. So you get in these long, high-speed duration corners. That's where those stores are just magic.
Yes, they're amazing. They're lightweight, they're quick, and they got an arrow. Look at Raiden Nickel, great line there, just clipping maybe an inch of where that little pothole is, but perfect for him. Let's see if he can get a run down the straightaway. But the two stores now drafting each other almost, kind of looking like a couple of spec Fords going down the front straightaway.
A couple of very high-speed spec Fords here. And, and I think right now, that's what Guyan is. Is it Guyan or Guyan?
I think it's Guyan.
I think you're right. I think he may be playing that game instead of racing with Lucian right now, considering that they are running laps consistently quicker than Day. I think he may be doing exactly what you're talking about, is let's just draft each other, pull us both up to Day, then we can race when we get into the final few laps.
They just pulled about a half a second out of Day's advantage, so now it's just about 1.6 seconds between them, and that's what I think both Lucian and Greg are thinking right now is, hey, Tim is right there. Let's catch up to him and make this a fight for second.
Well, visually, they're reeling him in. There's no question about that. And Raiden right now, sitting back, is just trying to hang on to that sixth spot, as Sherman Chow is chomping at the bit right behind him in his number 03. There he is, in that red and white. That's another store. Suzuki-powered machine.
Yeah, those three, though, that are battling for second, we got Tim Day, Lucian Pitze, and Greg Guyan. Those are your last three winners of this class. Yeah. Day winning the class, of course, at Indy in 21, Guyan at 22 at VIR, and then Lucian Pitze, your defending champ, from 23. So these guys, they are as quick as this class gets, and they're gonna get up there and try and fight. But right now, as it stands, only two of them can get medals. So, but if they're gonna try, and each one of them wants that second step, or if something happens to Bart, you never know. Yeah. They would love to see the top step. Right now, Bart is.
Look at that! As Penchia got in just a little hot and got more than he wanted onto that oil dry, and the car just slipped for a second, and Guyan pounced.
Lucian's been testing it.
Yeah, he has.
The test did not pass that time.
Now, let's see what Guyan can do with Penchia behind him, and see if they can push and run up today here as we are working lap 9 of 13. Wolf goes by, and wow. His fastest lap so far is a 2:08.6. He just turned a comfortable 2:09.3. And Lucian, boy, he protected a little bit into one there. Not necessary, because Guyan wasn't that close. And you can see that just allowed Guyan to close right back up on a big lockup for Lucian into 3.
Yeah, you can definitely see that big puff of smoke from the lockup there. That may hurt his exit speed here, as Guyan's going to get a run.
Boy, isn't he, though? And if he gets through there nice and clean, that can kind of propel you a little bit up. And he's just playing the game still.
Look how close they are to Tim Day, though.
Yeah, that's now down to 2 car lengths. They are playing this chess game for this second and third spot on the podium pretty darn well.
Yes, they are. They're sitting here working lap 9. These guys know there is a chance for a second place on the line. After a little bit of fighting earlier, Guyan seems to have grown a little bit of patience here at this stage.
Well, he certainly is playing the game, right? And that's That's kind of a key here. And one of the things you'll note for Lucian, he's got that sort of shark fin that they've folded in, and guy in behind him just has the normal sort of regular roll hoop with the air scoop built in.
Pensea also with a Kawasaki power plant. Guy and I believe in the Suzuki.
Yes,
so there are
is.
little differences. The cars may look the same, but trust me, there's enough of a difference. They are not the same car.
And now what happens? Lucian probably going to be a little more tentative coming in here. Is indeed, and that gave Guyan, you can see how much he closed, took a little run. No name for this little kind of right-hand bend at the exit of Canada. Then you fold into the left. That is Billy Mitchell.
Guyan looks very good through that part of the track. We've seen this now a couple times in a row where Lucian almost looks loose. Maybe it's the oil drive, maybe it's the car. But Guyan looks very good there, getting back on the power, exiting at 12.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Day has responded. You know, they had closed up and were really close, and Day just suddenly turns a 209 flat. And still, though, Pensea 208.5. They made up from the exit of 14. Look how much ground they made up.
I think there's a little bit of a push draft coming from Guyan behind Pensea, and there might be a bit of a trickle of draft coming off a Day as he has gotten within that 1 second or a second and a half margin. So that helped Pensea quite a bit right there. Meanwhile, Bart Wolf reset fastest lap of the race last time around, 208.3. By himself, no draft.
No draft, just cooking.
Yep.
And look at now, Day starting to do that little bob and weave, trying to make sure, but it's too late. Lucian Pensea has caught him. Day protecting big time down into 5, and still was able to exit 5 with about a 3-car length margin. But Pensea, when he went through with Guyan, he got really, really close. I don't know.
He made Day think about it for sure.
He sure did. Yeah, he had him protecting. And I don't know whether Day's got any extra little gear to get into here, but he certainly got the wake-up call there.
Well, let's see how they make this run down around the carousel, where I think Guyan's looks pretty quick most of today. We'll see if he has an advantage again, even in the air wash behind Pensea.
But look at the ground Day made up from 6 down to the exit of the carousel. And I think that's because I've been, Day, we've seen him get that little, or the front gives up just a little bit. I think he is pushing a lot harder through the carousel than Pensea and Guyan, and I think that's paying off. You don't want to lose it when you're doing that, because then it's bad, but I think he's just driving really, really well through that section of track.
Yeah, he may be running a little bit, either a slightly different gearing or where it's paying off on the twistier stuff, or perhaps his top end isn't as strong, or maybe he's running a little bit more wing, slowing him down on the long straightaways, but it's benefiting him then through that more quote-unquote infield section there from 5 down through the carousel.
Meanwhile, up the hill, Wolf begins lap 11 of 13, and let's see here, is Lucian close enough to get any kind of a pull from Tim Day? Boy, it sure looks like it. He is closing. I don't know if he's going to have enough by the time he gets to 1, but he got there. Ooh, wiggle from Day. That might give Pensea a little opportunity here. Pensea's thinking about it. Look to the inside. Guyan goes outside, and Pensea says, well, I better cover that. Guyan cuts down underneath and then checked up just a little bit. But look at Pensea. I thought I saw something come off the nose of Pensea's car. I think it was a leaf.
It might have been
just
the
kind
leaves
of came
blowing
up, but it certainly is that close. And we've got some traffic they're going to come up on too here. Pensea's through.
Yeah,
He's got him. Outside move into turn 5. Completed it before turn in. We have a new second place runner right now.
But Day's been faster in this part of the track.
Yes,
I suspect there's going to be a counter move, maybe even as early as going into 8 for Day if he can get a good little run here through 7.
And this is where you've got to be looking at how much ground are you making on this car that you're closing on. Where are you going to get that pass made? Let's see. Blue flags were out, so Pensea's going to get through. Day is going to go around the outside, and that's going to force Guyan to do the same thing. And Pensea did get a little bit better of that exchange, Larry. He opens up about a 4 car lengths margin here.
Just a little bit. That could be evaporated here when they come down. I suspect Guyan's going to maybe make a move on Tim Day going into 12.
Well, and remember, Lucian had that moment down in 12, so he might still be a little more circumspect here. And Day willing to put those lefts out there just a little bit, trying to open that radius up. Day bounces across the exit curbs.
I'm still thinking that oil dry exfoliating off the track down there is actually causing these guys to not make it a passing zone. They're really tentative to try to go in there too wide.
And nicely done by Pensia here as he stretches it out. And now here comes Guyan making that move. He and Tim Day, a drag race down the front straight at the line. It will officially go to Day by just a little bit, and that could have been a little foreshadowing of what we see at the end of this one.
Yes, a good draft can make it a really tight finish at the stripe. Look how wide.
Way too wide. Carried in a lot of speed.
Remember, we saw him twitch on the last time into one, or what if he's having a bit of a brake issue, like a brake bias problem on that car?
That could be. Oh, but then Guyan overshoots in a big wobble as he gets off track, and it almost snaps as he gets back on. Over that big backside of that curb. That's going to blunt his momentum. And I think Dave might be in a position. No, I think Dave checked up because he didn't want to get caught up in something. And suddenly, Lucian Penchia finds himself with a little bit of a gift.
Yeah,
look at that margin.
Lucian doing a great job. Opportunity here. But again, a little bit of a slide there for Dave behind Guyan, but he's going to try and stuff his nose in.
And Guyan shutting that door aggressively. And now, through turn 7. Coming down the hill here. Hard on the brakes, down the hill. Such tricky braking zones into 5 and 8 here. And you can see immediately Guyan just pinning it a little bit more to the inside, trying to get a run. And this is where Day, I thought, had been really driving the wheels off it. The problem is that he may have used up tire. He was pushing so hard through that section of track.
And if he's got an aero advantage by himself, it may be a problem in the wake of Guyan in front of him, so he may not quite have quite the same effect.
Oh, here he goes. He got a draft as they came through the kink, and he is through and clear already. Now it's getting it wound down. He does, looks good. Guyan, though, he hits those bumps on the exit, and for a second, Guyan thought about it. And we are anticipating Bart Wolf, who's got the margin up to over 10 seconds right now, will be coming up the hill and should pick up the white flag. There he goes by us. And Lucian Penn, there's Bart heading down into turn 1. You can see the crew giving him the signboard. And here next should be the yellow and black machine of Pensia. Here it comes. And here's that battle for the final spot on the podium. Day to the right of your screen, Guyan to the left. Again, drag race down into turn 1. Day went really wide here last time. He checks up a little bit.
I think that's that brake issue he's got. He couldn't quite push it to try and outbrake him. He's got to do it somewhere else.
And this is where we saw Guyan go really wide off the track. This time, it's Day flowing a little bit too much speed there. He didn't have quite the size moment that Guyan did, but it was big enough.
No, I don't think this will also mean no chance to pass him going into 5. Guyan's going to have at least a free shot at it. Meanwhile, Pensia has kind of pulled out about 20 car lengths on these two. That's not even a battle now for a second.
Yeah, but look at Day. He may, if he has a brake issue, he was willing to test him there. He made up a good car length and was able to hang on to that at the exit of the turn here. And this is where I was watching Day earlier. 7 and through the carousel, he was just magic. Can he pull something out on the last lap? Locked it up. I think that may have been that brake issue. He got in really hot, and suddenly it locked, and it was a big twitch here. But adrenaline is a beautiful thing. Let's see what he can do, Larry.
Well, it'd be interesting if he gets one move into off the kink. Oh, look at that. That's going to hurt him a little bit.
Yeah. Dirties your tires up.
Yeah. Needs to stay close, and maybe we can get a photo finish on this third place spot if Tim Day can get a run out of Canada and through 14.
Wow, I'll tell you, Day makes up a lot of time. Oh, he makes up enough time. He's going to give it a go, but it's going to be a braking duel extraordinaire. Guyan through the oil dry, off the track. Day is through. Meanwhile, out of 14, climbing the hill, heading to his 7th medal, but his first gold at the runoff. Bart Wolf, hometown favorite from Elkhart Lake itself, gets the win done. The shop's about a mile north of us here. Here comes Lucian Penchia after the gold last year at VIR, ends up at the silver, and Day with a fraught few final laps somehow comes through and grabs the bronze.
Great battle there. That was so much fun to watch.
Oh, it's crazy. Great stuff. Then it's Guyan in fourth. Sherman Chow got around on Raiden Nickel and was able to grab that fifth spot. Raiden Nickel, he's going to be somebody to watch, though. Wow. Such talent under the brakes. It was phenomenal. There's that very unique machine of Brian Lindstrand at Van Diemen Prince.
I like those colors.
I do too. It looks sharp.
That blue and we'll call it maize. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice. Up the hill he goes. Final margin of victory for Bart, 12.4 seconds. He put on kind of a clinic.
He really did. Yeah. Honestly, we didn't cover him too much because he was too fast for the cameraman to catch up to him. He was so quick out there, essentially doing qualifying laps for all 13 times around. He is going to be one happy guy. And if you haven't talked to him before, if you didn't see on the pre-race coverage today, the interview with Brian Belansky, Bart is a great guy. Look how happy he is waving to all the workers.
He's a great character.
Yes.
Great character. He truly is. When he was running in Sports 2000, and most of it was club, but he did a few pro races, and one of them was here. I was announcing, and I asked him if I could grab a radio from him so I could try and interview him on the grid. Mm-hmm. And I knew Bart, obviously. Like I said, I rented from him when I lived here for a while, and I know he's such a fun character, but I wonder what he's good, what he's going to be like for this interview. It was like he was a pro and had been doing interviews forever. The man is just chill.
Yeah.
He's just chill. And he helped us film one of our funniest ever segments when we were doing the runoffs at Mid-Ohio when Dorsey Schrader did a segment on there we ran 18 laps, and he called it the 19th lap through Tech. And Bart, they said he'd help us out, and he took his S2 car, got his crew on it, and we filmed them pulling in. They're all cheering into Tech, and they dropped the doors. And then, of course, we go around the back, and the doors open. And this was all Bart's idea at the end. The doors open. He comes walking out in a pair of red, white, and blue boxer shorts. That's it. In a box full of parts, looking at Dorsey and the camera going, what just happened? He is willing to do anything. And as you can see, folks, he is one talented race car driver. He loves driving prototypes, always has.
Oh, he's absolutely he's going to be completely ecstatic when he gets down there, the whole team. Well-deserved, just dominated in qualifying, and it carried over to the race. Even on the restarts, that no one had anything for Bart today.
Nope, and like he said, I am racing in memory of S2. He loved that class, and coming in here. And now that he's got it done, I will say that he said, I am determined to win this class with an automotive engine. So he's quite as I said, a character. And I forgot to mention, back in high school, he was a state championship level fullback.
Yeah.
And set, I think, a record for touchdowns over his career in that. So,
well, Hayward, you got to try to tackle him here at one point in the interview because he might be running around jumping for joy here.
What a race he put on. Again, Lucian Penchia adding to his medal count, Tim Day Jr. as well. And Guyan and Chow and the rest of the field. I'll tell you what, I think the guy that really impressed me here, though, was Raiden Nickel. I can't wait to see him.
The Radical isn't normally considered to be a competitive car in these P2 fields, but it was great to see Raiden piloting that Radical here today and showing that, it can run.
All right, there it is, the 7th medal to go around Bart Wolf's neck, and the first gold. Hayden, Hayward, he's got to be absolutely delighted.
Bart, there is tremendous satisfaction in having the right tool for the job and getting to use it. It looks like that's exactly how your day went.
It was exactly as we planned. We did a lot of testing, a lot of tire testing, a lot of development on the car, and it was kind of how we thought it was going to go. And I was a little disappointed. I thought we'd get a little more speed out of the car, but it was good enough to win.
Talk about the decision to run this car, this engine, this tire, this package here at Road America.
I kind of looked at Bob Iverson about 4 years ago. Looked like he had a pretty good package. And coming from Sports 2000, I really wanted to win with an automotive-based motor. The motorcycle motors have kind of had their way in this class, so it's kind of nice. And I think they do have good parity. Mike Rupert was pulling me on the straightaway on the start, and then went to the brakes early. So from there, it was kind of smooth sailing.
Well, congratulations to you on the gold medal. You get to take one more lap. Enjoy it.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Barty Wolf, folks, what a story. born and raised in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and man, he's just chill, but he is just going to be beside himself having done this one literally at home. Let's take a look at our top 10 officially, and it's Bart Wolf with the win over Lucian Panchia, the defending class champion. Tim Day, a great drive in third. Greg Guyan in fourth. Sherman Chow, a nice run through the field up into fifth. The impressive Raiden Nickel in sixth. Brian Lindstrand in seventh. The evergreen Richard Colburn in eighth. Dale Vandenbush in ninth. And Michael Moulton rounding out the top 10 here at this run for the gold in P2. And he's waiting to get the high sign. He's found him. Let's get back down to Hayward.
Yeah, Lucian, you just said what I was going to ask you about. It got a little lonely out there for it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did at the beginning, but I tried to save tires. I had some issues with the brakes, but then once I figured out, that I could drive around it, then I put the hammer down and second place. I didn't have the best qualify. We had a lot of issues with the car, but we're here. I'd like to thank my family, Young Racing, Goodyear, God, and for everybody that's involved. I love it.
Congratulations on the silver.
Thank you.
And Tim, you were never lonely aboard in this race, were you?
No, not after the second half. Everybody reeled me in. It's a little bit like VIR last year, where we did really well in qualifying, but we couldn't seem to find that pace in the car during the race. I'm not sure why that is. Part of it is our aero was hurt, and I want to apologize publicly to Mike Rupert. He was trying to pass Bart on the outside, and then he cut all the way to the inside, and I was there. And a very unfortunate incident, but it was pretty much unavoidable. I'd call it a racing incident. But great team result. I'm really happy that, hopefully it's not the last P2 race at the runoffs, but if it is, the team got it on the podium, so we're really super stoked about that. So
congratulations on another runoffs medal, this time bronze.
Yeah, we would have liked a few steps up, but, it's a nice way to close out what has been a crazy, crazy week. So,
indeed.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
That says a lot about Tim Day, because I don't really think that was his fault at all. And I don't think he was apologizing that he caused it. I think he was apologizing to a friend that it happened.
Yeah, that he was just in kind of a place where it was unfortunate Rupert wasn't going to be able to see him. And this is the incident he's talking about. Rupert was on the left, and he cut to the inside, not realizing Tim was going to be there. Tim feels bad for it, but trust me, Tim, you were good. Great action here. Look at the battles, though, right behind him. This time, Raiden Nickel with Lucian Panchia as Lucian was working through the field.
Yeah, Raiden was just absolutely demon on the brakes. It was phenomenal. There's Day, and then this is when this got really crazy here as Lucian pops over and makes that run. And you can see a little lap traffic up in front. Lucian comes through, and then here's this last lap duel here in Day, just finding a way by Guyan, and then Day runs a little bit wide, and then this is actually the last lap move. Watch Guyan. He had no choice but to try and round him up around the outside. Got out there a little bit too wide, and then Bart Wolf coming through again, 12.4 clear of the field. And tell me that guy's not a racer when he said, we were hoping to get a little more speed out of the car. Yeah. What, you wanted to beat him by 20 seconds? That was a great run, and Bart gets this very special lap here. Once again, want to say a huge thank you to the folks at Mazda for presenting this broadcast of the 60th running, the historic running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs here at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. The run for the gold in P2 is done. I'm Greg Creamer for Larry and for Hayward. A huge thank you, folks. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the runoffs. Bart Wolf is.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose.
1, 2,
We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.